Hello and welcome back to another video. This is going to be the start of a new ScrawlrBox era. I used to do them quite often and then I stopped just due to many reasons, and I've recently just resubscribed to them and received my first box in probably 2 years, I think. That's what the records say, so let's get straight into this. If you don't know what a ScrawlrBox is, it is an art subscription box based in the UK. It is £15 for the box. It is free delivery to anyone else in the UK, and across any other countries it is an additional fee for delivery, so you'll have to check that out on the website. But they include some art supplies, and a featured artist is chosen for each box, and they include a piece of art from that featured artist, a little bit about the featured artist, and then a little slip telling you about all the supplies in the box. So it's a pretty affordable box, probably the most affordable I know of, and being in the UK, for me it's obviously the cheapest due to no delivery fees, which is great. So let's get into opening this box. It's a redesigned box since I last opened one, so that's a nice change. So let's take these supplies out and move the box, and then a new thing since I last subscribed as well is that the every box sold they will plant a tree, so I think that's amazing, and obviously the cardboard box is recyclable, which is great. So we've got a zine in this. I didn't know they were doing this either. So Scrawler tips about the artist. It's a bit different. It's definitely a bit more involved than it used to be. So I'll have that read in a minute. So this is the featured artwork in the box. Phoebe Cripps. So this is a little bit about the artist. And there are social media links. So I'm not going to have a look at what the supplies are, which is in the zine. I'm just going to open them up and see what my thoughts are. So everything's always very neatly packaged, although this is slightly ripped. Oh no, the supplies are actually still on their old cards. This is very much different to how it used to be. This is great. So they've now created more vinyl stickers rather than their old paper ones, which are nice, and they change every month, so they're not the same artwork on each one. So if you want to stick these anywhere, it's a bit different and you're not receiving the same sticker. We will remove that. So this looks very interesting, and it looks like we're working with charcoal, which could go one of two ways, I think. Let's have a look. Let's move this out of the way. So we've got a nice sharpener. Let's have a look. So this is, I think it's just a generic sharpener, nothing too special about it. There we have, you get your sweet in every box, which is nice. This is an Everton mint. It's nice. So we have in this, we seem to have two different types of charcoal. We've got willow charcoal sticks. I'm not going to get them out because it's going to go absolutely everywhere. And we also have a compressed charcoal block, which is pretty cool. Along with that, we've got a medium kneaded putty eraser, because you get a lot of dust with your charcoal, so that'd be good for removing dark areas or dust or excess, which is nice. We have a Kohinoor charcoal pencil, standard. I'm going to actually get something out so we can test some of these on here. So actually, let's open this. We may as well test them out. Oh, that's nice. So you've got the charcoal block, and then you've got two willow charcoal sticks of two different sizes. So I've worked with charcoal but not charcoal sticks before, so that's quite an interesting thing for me. I don't really know what to say about it. It's charcoal. It's not really something different. I don't know why I'm taking these out of this because it is messy. I'm going to put these away. So yeah, that's just generic charcoal. Let's try out this Koh-i-Noor charcoal pencil, which I imagine is just the same, but you can get a bit more of a finer line. It's actually a little bit darker. It's less cloudy. The charcoal, the willow charcoal, is a bit more smudged look about it, and the pencil's a little bit more refined, and you can get a nice point to that. Zoom in. We then have some Rembrandt pastel pencils, I believe. Yeah, pastel pencils. Let me have a look. Chalk pencils. Oil-free pencils can be blended in blood to perfection using fingers, cotton buds and putty erasers. So these are actually not sharpened, so I can't show you these, but we have sepia light and white pastel. So these are the colours. That's not going to focus. Those are the colours. Next we have a Rembrandt Splendor. So this is a colourless blending pencil, so that's what they said you can blend those chalk pencils with. Gives a glossy surface and helps blend tones together seamlessly. So that's that. It just looks like it's kind of an off-white pencil. Let's see. Yeah, it does blend. That's pretty cool. And next we have a Faber Castell Perfection Eraser Pencil. Perfect for fine detail erasing and sharpens like ordinary pencils. It's great for precision erasing with a little more control is needed. So that'll be good to remove. I'm not convinced that's going to remove charcoal, to be honest. So maybe it'll work better with these Rembrandt charcoal pencils because they're not black. But it is soft. It's strange texture. It is like a tube of eraser in a pencil. It's strange. So that'll be quite interesting to use. And then second to last in terms of the actual supplies, we have just some, it looks like some cotton earbuds, which is cool. So that'll be good for blending. I like this little package they put it in. That's really nice. And then last but not least, we actually have a full pad of paper. I have seen that they've been including pads rather than just single sheets of paper, which is nice. This is a Paint on Grey A5 pad. Oh yes, it is a nice grey. They've included a colour from there. It's a nice thick paper. What's the GSM? It's 250, £115, so that's nice. I actually think that's going to be really nice to work on, and I can imagine myself using this with not just charcoal, to be honest. Maybe try out some pastels or something. So yeah, that's the box. I must admit, charcoal's not my favourite thing to work with, and I'm very interested to see how this turned out. And I think, like I say, it could go one of two ways. It can either turn out great or it can turn out into a big mess and I'm going to hate it. So we will definitely see what happens at the end of this. So yeah, stick around if you want to see more. So I forgot to mention that in every box there is a Scrawler challenge, which is a word or phrase where you can take part on social media, and you only use the supplies in the box to create a piece of artwork based on that word or phrase, and you can post it on social media with the hashtag Scrawler challenge for a chance to win. So for this challenge it was Carbon Heroes, and so I did think, do I draw a person, like a hero of mine, an artist, or someone I look up to? But then I couldn't get it out of my head that the charcoal was lending itself to rocks. I really enjoyed the look of a really shadowy rock or stone formation, and I must admit I've been watching The Witcher on Netflix, and this kind of resonated with that at this time that I was filming, and it's just something I couldn't get out of my head. So my Carbon Heroes is kind of, this is the base or the layer or something for a hero, like a superhero or something like that. That's what I was really going for with this. So basically I used my charcoal, willow charcoal, to rough out where I wanted the stones and the buildings within the stones, and I wanted to add a bit of a walkway as to how to get from that lower building right up to the top. And as you can see here, I actually just sanded some of it down just to create a bit of a finer point and a bit of a darker kind of shadowing and applied to that, because it was turning out very cloudy at the time, so I wanted it to be a bit darker, so I just sanded it down. I probably didn't need it, to be honest. I just needed to press a bit harder. But I really enjoyed the willow. I think that was my favourite supply in this box, surprisingly. I'd dabbled in it, I'd used it here and there, but I'd not really done much with it, and this was the first time I'd sat down and actually done a piece of artwork with the willow, and it was actually so smooth and beautiful to work with. The only downside, and I did not learn my lesson throughout this video, it probably happened about 4 or 5 times, was I draw down in this bottom right, but because my hand was resting on it, I kept smudging it, and the willow is so light that I was just rubbing out the willow charcoal completely with my hand, and I had to redo that bit multiple times. And in fact, that building, the little round building you can see just under my hand, I actually ended up forgetting was meant to be there when I kept redoing it, and so that building completely disappeared from my entire drawing in the end. Using the cotton buds was lovely. I really enjoyed the way that blended. I could get a bit of an even blend with the paper and the dark areas, and I just used that to smudge it all together to create the lighter parts of the rocks. The kneadable eraser was beautiful as well to work with. It really got rid of any little bits of charcoal that I did not want on the paper, and later on at the end of the drawing I actually used that to clean up around my main piece of artwork just to finish it off. And that's all I can really say about those supplies. I did find that using the sepia light, this that I'm using, not now, it's changed, but the sepia light charcoal pencil, and even this fine charcoal pencil, it was great for details like this, but it's that compressed charcoal, and I found it created quite a texture to it. It wasn't as smooth as the willow, and so it didn't quite, I found it really difficult to make it look similar. I tried blending it with this with the earbuds and the whatever you want to call them, Q-tips, which it did work, but layering was just really difficult. To get a nice even colour you had to press hard, and therefore you could not layer on top of it. Equally, that blending pencil, here's me filling back in where I've smudged it all with my hand. Equally, that blending pencil, the Splendor, it was nice, it blended things together, but again it created a bit of a waxy surface, and for me I did not like that, because then I could not go over the top of it. I could not add more colour or darken the colour or anything. It just created this waxy surface that charcoal just would not draw on top of, which I didn't like, and I found it really difficult to get any kind of detail into this lower building here, and in the end I think that's probably my least favourite part of this drawing, was this lower building. It was just because I could not layer, I could not create depth, and then I was just struggling in general. This is me trying to use the compressed charcoal block, and again I was having the same issues. It was not layering on top of things that I wanted it to. Now, I did read the zine a little bit more in depth after I'd finished filming that first segment of this video, and it did have some tips from the artist, which is pretty interesting. I like how they've incorporated that. But, she kind of said that you need to work in kind of an order with these supplies, like you needed to lay down certain ones first and then kind of add next to it and make sure you're not layering too much. And so I think that really did show that I should have done that a bit more with my drawing. So I really heavily relied on the willow charcoal, to be honest, to create my lights and darks, and I relied on the earbud to blend as well quite a lot. But yeah, the texture of the compressed charcoal was not my favourite, and I didn't quite enjoy it. I really did try and incorporate every single supply I could, but in the end I think I did mainly use the willow charcoal. The other supply would be the white charcoal pencil. I know I've just bashed all the charcoal pencils, but that one was really, really nice to use. It layered perfectly. Like, I could add that on top of most of my things. Maybe not the ones that I added the blender pencil to. It just, that didn't seem to want me to layer on top of, but it allowed me to layer on top of the willow charcoal perfectly, and I created some really nice light spots with that, which was nice. I did use the rubber pencil with the two ends of rubbers. That was nice. Again, I just didn't really find a use for it. I think I'd prefer to use that in other drawings. In fact, a good drawing that would be good for was, do you know, if you've watched, and I'll link it in the card, my old eraser challenge video where I was only using rubbers on a clear paper of pencil to create the artwork, and that would have been perfect because it would have created such good detail. So here you see me using the white pencil. I shaved it down a little bit to get a finer tip, and it worked so perfectly. I was able to highlight the rocks where the light was hitting, and also highlight where the walkway was, and add some little beams under there to make it look like it's being held up by little wooden beams. And I think that really finished the drawing, and I'm really pleased with that. My overall view of this box, it was good. It's not really supplies I would ever use. Maybe I'll think about using them a bit more on this paper. This paper's beautiful to work on. The colour's really nice. I like this grey colour. But I did actually really enjoy the drawing, and I like the way my piece turned out. And I hope you have too, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. So please give me a thumbs up if you have. Just comment if you've done this challenge and what you've drawn for it, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. So please stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see more from this channel. So thank you very much for watching.